Hello, and welcome to another episode in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. My name is Jason Perkins. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos to provide people who've been hurt at work in Georgia with helpful information about Georgia's workers' compensation laws and the benefits they should receive under those laws. Now, let's jump straight into today's topic. Today, I'd like to talk to you about maximum medical improvement and permanent partial disability. So first, what does maximum medical improvement mean? Maximum medical improvement is a medical term of art. It's something that medical professionals use when they're talking about you getting as good as you can get with medical treatment. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're 100% better. Really what it means is the doctors don't expect you to make substantial improvement from more medical treatment. Now, how does it affect your workers' compensation case? Well, that can vary depending on what state your case is being handled in because each state has different workers' compensation laws. In Georgia, maximum medical improvement does not necessarily affect your right to workers' compensation benefits. If you're receiving wage loss benefits for being out of work, or if you've got restrictions that prevent you from going back to work, the doctor saying you're at maximum medical improvement should not stop those benefits. Georgia is not what is referred to as an MMI state. Georgia is more about return to work. So reaching maximum medical improvement or MMI doesn't mean your wage loss benefits stop. It's a question of whether you can actually return to work or not, or whether there's suitable work available to you with your restrictions from your injury. Now, if you reach maximum medical improvement, should you receive a permanent partial disability rating? Yes, when you reach maximum medical improvement, your workers' compensation doctor should evaluate you for whether you have a permanent impairment as a result of your injury. That's what permanent partial disability refers to. It's the doctor determining if you have any permanent impairment as a result of this injury at work. And Georgia's got special rules for determining what your permanent partial disability rating is. Doctors should use the 5th edition of the American Medical Association's Guide to the Evaluation of Permanent Impairment when determining whether you have a rating. And you may not necessarily have a rating when you reach maximum medical improvement, but the doctor should consider whether you have a rating or not and use the AMA Guides to the Evaluation of Permanent Impairment to determine what your permanent partial disability rating is. Now, this does not always happen, and if the doctor doesn't evaluate you for that rating, you may miss out on receiving some workers' compensation benefits that you should receive because the insurance company only has to pay those permanent partial disability benefits when you receive the rating. So if you never receive a rating, you may short yourself some benefits. Now, there is a part of Georgia's workers' compensation rules that do require insurance companies to ask the doctor to evaluate you for a permanent partial disability rating when you stop receiving wage loss benefits. But they're only required to request the rating from the doctor. So if they request the rating from the doctor and the doctor doesn't issue a rating, then again, you may not receive those benefits that you should. So being aware that you should ask for a permanent partial disability rating from the doctor, or at least make sure that the doctor gives you one, is very important. Now, can you continue to receive wage loss benefits from workers' compensation after you reach maximum medical improvement if you can't go back to work? Yes, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, maximum medical improvement does not necessarily stop your right to workers' compensation wage loss benefits in a Georgia workers' compensation case. So if you remain out of work as a result of your injury, you should continue to receive wage loss benefits. There are other limits in Georgia on how long you can receive wage loss benefits, and there's no guarantee that you will continue to receive them for some period of time in the future, but reaching maximum medical improvement on its own does not entitle the insurance company to stop your wage loss benefits in Georgia. Now, are you entitled to a workers' compensation settlement when you reach maximum medical improvement? No, not necessarily. Now, that does not mean that your case is not going to settle. Many workers' compensation cases do settle, but settlement is not necessarily something that you're entitled to in a Georgia workers' compensation case. In order to reach a settlement in a workers' compensation case, there has to be an agreement among the parties. So the injured worker is one party to the case, and the employer and insurance company are a second party to the case. In order for a case to settle, both parties have to agree on a settlement. So a settlement is voluntary. You never have to settle your workers' compensation case. Your case is only going to settle if both you and the insurance company agree on a settlement amount. Now, if you or the insurance company or both of you have attorneys representing you, then those attorneys are going to give you advice about settlement and negotiate settlement amounts. My job in a workers' compensation case when it comes to settlement is to give my clients advice, and when I'm negotiating, to get the top dollar settlement offer from the insurance company on the table. Now, I've made many other videos that discuss settlements in more detail, so if you've got more interest in settlement or want to find out more information about that, then just click on the link to the video playlist for settlements at the top of the screen. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you have, please consider two things before you go. First, I'd really appreciate if you give this video a like or a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to this channel if you'd like to be notified of future videos in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. Second, if you've got workers' compensation questions, please reach out to get answers. I offer free consultations in Georgia workers' compensation cases. If you'd like to set one of those up, there's two easy ways you can do so. The first is by calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and the other is by reaching out to us through our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com. Just click on and submit the pre-consultation request form there, and a member of our team will reach out to you and get a consultation scheduled. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today. I'd like to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.